Hello everyone, my name is Khushi and today I'll be presenting on social anxiety disorder, specifically the brain processes involved in this condition. My focus will be on two research articles that look at functional brain activity and neurochemical changes in social anxiety disorder. Social anxiety disorder or SAD is one of the most common anxiety disorder. It involves a strong fear of being judged, embarrassed, or negatively evaluated in social situations. This can lead to avoidance, distress, and difficulty functioning in daily life. In this presentation, I'll explain how SAD is connected to abnormal brain functioning and altered brain chemistry. SAD affects about 1.6 to 12% of the population. People with SAD usually experience increased self-focus, sensitivity to rejection, and a tendency to exaggerate perceived social threats. Their symptoms often intensify when they feel excluded or judged. This presentation covers two types of research. Study 1 is an empirical fMRI study, meaning it collects new data using brain imaging while participants complete a task. Study 2 is a systematic review of several MRI studies, meaning it summarizes and analyzes many past studies on brain chemistry in SAD. Study 1 by Hiren et al. Examined how people with SAD respond to social exclusion and whether they recover normally afterwards. They use the cyberball game, which simulates being included or excluded in a group activity. The researchers predicted that SAD patients would feel more excluded. Their brain activity during recovery would be different from healthy people. Specifically, the left inferior frontal gyrus or IFG would be more active in SAD patients, especially during reinclusion. There were 23 women with SAD and 23 matched healthy controls. All participants were right-handed and were not taking any medications. While in the fMRI scanner, participants played cyberball through phases of inclusion, exclusion, and reinclusion. Afterwards, they rated how excluded they felt. Here's what they found. Behaviorally, SAD patients felt much more excluded. During explicit exclusion, brain responses were similar across both groups. But during reinclusion, SAD patients showed much stronger left IFG activation, with a very strong statistical result. The more excluded they felt, the higher their IFG activity. This suggests that people with SAD not only react strongly to exclusion, but also they have difficulty recovering even when others try to include them again. Study 2 is a systematic review of 8 proton MRI studies, including 146 patients with SAD and 176 controls. This type of imaging looks at brain chemicals rather than brain activity. The studies examined regions involved in fear and emotion regulation, including the ACC, prefrontal cortex, insula, and thalamus. The researchers searched four major databases from 1946 to 2022. They only included studies using HMRS scanners strength ranged from 1.5 to 4 Tesla. They compared levels of several neurometabolites related to neuronal health, energy use, membranes, glial function, and neurotransmission. Across the 8 studies, they found higher NAA levels in ACC insula, DLPFC, and thalamus, possibly indicating abnormal neuronal structure or glial function. Lower NAA in the occipital cortex, reduced creatine in the DLPFC suggesting impaired energy metabolism, irregular choline and myoinositol levels depending on the brain region, reduced glutamate and GABA in areas such as DMPFC and ACC. Overall, the results show that SAD involves an imbalance between excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmission as well as disrupted metabolic activity. Both studies demonstrate abnormalities in brain region related to emotion regulation. Study 1 shows functional dysregulation, meaning too much activation in certain brain areas like the IFG during social recovery. Study 2 shows chemical dysregulation, meaning irregular metabolite levels including NAA, creatine, glutamate, and GABA. Together, they show that SAD involves both abnormal brain functioning and altered neurochemistry. Study 1 had strong methodology, matched controls, no medication effects, and a unique focus on recovery from exclusion. Study 2 offered a broad overview by combining data across multiple MRS studies and examining many brain chemicals. Together, they provide strong converging evidence for biological models of SAD. In conclusion, people with SAD shows hyperreactive brain responses, especially difficulty recovering after feeling excluded, neurochemical imbalances including altered glutamate and GABA levels and disrupted metabolic function. Together, these findings suggest that SAD involves chronic neural sensitivity and disturbed biochemical signaling. This can guide future therapies focusing on emotion regulation, cognitive processes, and possibly neurochemical pathways. Future research should use large, more diverse samples in MRI studies, standardize MRS methods, combine fMRI and MRS in the same study, explore treatment targeting glutamate, GABA, and energy metabolism. Thank you all for listening. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much.